Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod. I'm here to talk about the challenge Season 39, Battle for a New Champion, Episode 1, Teamwork Makes the Perfect Work. Before I dive in, I'm going to put a link in the subject of this video to my playlist for the Challenge 39, where you'll see my cast reaction for this, so go back and watch that first if you want to. If you like the video, subscribe. I cover a bunch of shows that you probably like too. But let's dive into it. We start off with a montage of greatest hits from the last 38 seasons, memory lane, good memories. So apparently the challengers have spent the night in the arena, so they're all waking up hungover in the sand. Big T is back and she wants to prove that she doesn't suck. Asif says he's there to take souls. Melissa is back too, and her sweet daughter Vienna is 3 now. This opening scene is chaotic with flashbacks, flash forwards, girls kissing, men kissing. So this for me was already super messy. Like there was a whole challenge that was on the countdown special, and a lot of this fun TV stuff that happened in the flashbacks wasn't shown in that. Also, I couldn't find anywhere to watch the countdown special. I didn't even know it existed until I was recording this, but then I went and looked it up and none of the fun stuff from the flashbacks was in the countdown special, so this was just insane to me. So to recap you on the countdown special that none of us saw, including myself, and isn't even available on Paramount Plus, basically they spent the night in the arena getting wasted, and some alliances were formed, but they're basically just soft alliances based on who's been on seasons together. So they all wake up in the arena in the sand, and TJ shows up, and Jessica says seeing TJ is euphoric, and an angelic halo comes over TJ. King and Queen, Horacio and Olivia are back. He says that he's back for his revenge. Someone say that he's back for his vengeance. Michelle, who we last saw like 2 weeks ago on the Challenge USA, says her relationships are going to hopefully help her, and Berna hopes they're playing as individuals. Callum says that he had an easy ride on his season of Challenge UK, and he kind of did. He literally did nothing and then lost his final. TJ points out that none of them are winners and none of them are rookies, which is a good mix, and TJ tells us there will only be one winner this season, which is such crap. I kind of hate that. To start off, the final is worth $300,000 with an opportunity for them to raise it to $500,000 along the way. TJ says this season will be divided into levels: control, where they can win money; chaos, when they can protect the money; and conquest, where they might earn even more. This is confusing and nonsense. Basically, I predict that they'll gain and lose money along the way, and eventually production just somehow makes it $500,000. Along the way, they'll all be competing as one team to get the money. The first challenge is called Hole Control. What a name. They'll need to go into a muddy hole, get poles to make a puzzle, and complete it in 10 minutes to earn money for the prize pot. They strategize together. Kieran takes charge. Berna wants to help, but nobody's listening to her. Asif says teamwork makes the perfect work, and I guess he said the thing, and this episode title is still better than all of the episode titles on the Challenge USA. They all run into the mud pit, and it's disorganized chaos. Chauncey has a confessional shouting out his champion partner Amber at home and their new baby. Berna tries to help and give advice, and nobody's listening to her once again, but she's also being really annoying and relentless about it. Michelle, Queen of Puzzles, figures out the puzzle is to spell out challenge. The women start figuring out the puzzle. When it comes to the last two people in the mud pit, they have to pull up 2 guys at once, and Kieran climbs up Jay's hanging body. For a while, it really looked like they were going to rip Jay in half, but then Callum grabs Kieran's hands, and Kieran is hanging on like Mufasa. After they're done help me brothering, they end up getting Callum up, and it's very satisfying. Emmanuel is spending the $50K in his head from this challenge, and then they realize the puzzle is nowhere near complete with 1 minute left. The puzzle is disorganized chaos as well. They have 10 seconds left to complete it, and someone yells, just shove them anywhere, which doesn't seem like a good strategy, and they end up spelling shalanji. If only Johnny Bananas were here, because this is a vengeance type situation. So they lost the challenge, and now they have to decide in the arena who they want to vote into the elimination. The house is the same exact house from the Challenge USA, just with different ugly wallpaper this time, which is so lame and cheap. Back at the house, Berna is already busting everyone's chops. Jay does a toast, and somewhere out there Johnny Bananas is watching this and shaking his head. Berna is upset now about the bed assignments. She skips the party and goes to hang out in bed. Berna is rooming with Colleen, Jessica, and Raven, and she's just so upset with her roomies that she cries to herself. Big T starts strategizing, and they make her to be the Alice in the Brady Bunch animation, or the Big T Bunch. So after proclaiming herself to be a mastermind, Big T strategizes with Melissa, wanting it to be a female winner of this season. The ladies start scheming against Berna, but Michelle expresses loyalty to people she's played with before, including Berna. Jay and Asif are apparently close friends after the one episode they were in together. I said in my preseason rankings that Michelle and Jay are the most well-connected people on this cast, so I fully expect them to run this house. Huey and Michelle go to Berna and try to talk to her, but she's completely falling apart and lashing out at them. Later on, Callum and Michelle are up late drunkenly talking, where she asks him if he's in a relationship, and he says he's not, and they're clearly flirting. Michelle is down for a good time. She was just making out with Cassidy at the same house like a week before. The next day, they all work out in slow motion, and everybody already knows about Michelle and Callum. It seems like they were just talking and nothing scandalous happened overnight. Or, let me correct myself, nothing scandalous happened yet, because then, on the phone, Callum's girlfriend. No! He tells his girlfriend he loves her.
You know, this is the girlfriend he just said didn't exist.
but this is exactly the kind of drama that we can expect from Callum, I guess. Colleen is going to talk to Berna, and Colleen says, I'm a psychologist, so I can tell that Berna struggles to make connections. She gets through half a sentence, and Berna says, no, I don't need advice, thank you. A bunch of guys strategize to get votes on Big T because she's always up to something and is a liability in challenges. Big T wants to unite the women, but Olivia wants Jess out, and this is becoming a little too chaotic, and I hope that there's a twist that adds some more structure to this mess. In the deliberation, Callum starts speaking for the men, and Nerys blames the women for coming up with the losing strategy in the challenge. The men really make asses of themselves in this deliberation by being very rude. Berna apologizes to the group, and then Jess speaks up saying that she's a small woman and doesn't feel like she can win the show, and that the money means nothing to her and she would give it to charity, which is just a cringe speech if you're not trying to volunteer yourself. They all show up to the elimination ready to fight in their ugly orange leggings. They have to vote out loud one at a time. It's anticlimactic, but they all vote for Jessica, and she even votes for herself. TJ says smart. Mr. Big Shot, Horacio, puts one vote on Big T. TJ then gives Jessica the ultimate control to pick any female she wants to go against in elimination. I didn't agree with a lot of the production decisions on this episode, but I did agree with this method of picking a second person for the elimination. So Jessica picks Big T, which is kind of the obvious choice. The challenge is called Fallout, which is kind of a spin on a classic elimination. They'll be suspended in a cage and have to clear tiles out of the cage, collect a mallet, and smash the bottom out of the cage. Big T whips through her tiles and gets to her mallet first and wins the elimination, which ends up being a big moment for her. TJ says that there wasn't a man or woman who could have beat Big T in this elimination, and I don't know if I believe that. So after all that, we have to say goodbye to Jessica, who I didn't really remember from her season at all and probably won't remember her for this. She was coming for my girl Olivia and then perpetuated the recent trend of people being on these shows and not really caring if they win or lose. To me, I was getting big quitter energy by her saying she didn't really care about being there or the money and pretty much volunteering for the elimination and even voting for herself. And I think that if she really tried, she could have beaten Big T, but TJ says he hopes we see her again, and personally, I'm okay if we don't. So that's all I have to say about this episode. It was a really good episode. If you like this recap, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be back to talk about next week's episode of season 39 of The Challenge. I'm also covering Big Brother and Survivor right now. So if you like those shows, I post all of my videos and playlists on my channel. Until next time, I hope you have a good week. Bye.